Hello everybody, I'm Burnage and this is my review for Kung Fu on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Kung Fu is a side-scrolling action game where you beat up every giant moth and child that tries to get in your way to rescue your girlfriend. It's cool to punch a child if you're saving a girl in distress, right? There are two different modes which can be played by up to 2 players. Mode A is basically the game's normal mode, while Mode B really cranks up the difficulty like a hard mode. After finishing Mode A, I was thinking, how much harder can this game possibly get? Then commenced the most brutal ass-kicking I've had handed to me in a video game in the past couple years. The goal of the game is simply to walk from one side of the building to the other, moving up floors as you zigzag until you can save your girlfriend that's sitting at the top. You have a punch, a kick, a duck, and a jump. The kick has longer range, but it does less damage and gives less points. This is only relevant during the bosses though. Normal enemies will die in a specific amount of hits, 1 for most and 2 for knife throwers. If they're so tough, then why are they standing back throwing knives? The obvious strategy is to have the weak throw the knives, with the strong up front grappling you. Also, there isn't much reason to milk points with punches. You get an extra life at 50,000 points, but that's it. And the amount you get from clearing floors far exceeds the amount you get from killing enemies, unless you're taking the game at a very slow snail speed. This game does a great job of forcing to use all the different abilities. There are plenty of obstacles that need to be ducked under or jumped over, and enemies that can only be killed by hitting them up high or down low. Each floor consists of its own type of enemies, as well as the unique boss at the end of each floor. If any of the enemies get to you, they will start to grapple with you, which keeps you from moving or attacking until you shake them off by wiggling the D-pad. There's this weird timing where they latch onto you mid-attack, and your attack will just go right through them. Like once they touch human skin, they just become non-corporeal or something. At least the guy behind him hasn't been able to grab onto that luxury yet, so you might still take a dude out. The grapple doesn't do a lot of damage, but once you start pairing it with a group of mighty midgets and knife throwers, it can easily spell death. I wouldn't want to be the guy holding on when my buddy starts hucking knives in my direction. I hope they practice this circus act ahead of time. The game only has 5 floors, which are really short, but with the difficulty of this game, you can still get some hours of gameplay out of it. It also loops back to the first stage for point scoring it when you win, if you're into that, or whatever. Once you start playing on the B mode, all hell breaks loose. Here, Satan himself leads the defense, and you can see just how unfair this game can be. On the second floor, there's these falling pots that can pose a serious problem. I can't even count the number of times I went to jump over a snake, had a pot fall on my head, knocking me back onto the ground and into the snake, and killing me instantly. This is the biggest flaw about this game because there isn't anything you can do about it, other than play the level the exact same way every time. This forces enemies to spawn the same way, but you're not a computer, so there's guaranteed to be some variance. In the 3rd and 5th stage, the enemy spam plus a large number of knife throwers gets you into some pretty impossible situations too. If there are 2 knife throwers, and they coordinate a high and low knife throw at the same time along with some grapplers, there's just no chance of getting out without taking some damage. Some of the bosses also seem a little RNG heavy. I couldn't find a way to manipulate their attack patterns, and some of the moves seem pretty devastating. I never once dodged the giant's kick attack. It has such a long range, and any time I jumped I still got hit. Maybe my timing was off, but the only way I beat that boss was if I could take a kick and live, or if he didn't kick at all. The Dark Magician also feels pretty overpowered. Nothing like in Yu-Gi-Oh, am I right? He looks so old and frail without his purple robes and staff. Just like the giant, his low kick attack seems almost undodgeable. So just hoping for the high attack was the way to go. With all of this and only 4 lives after the 50,000 point mark, getting through this mode was a real chore. Overall, I found this game to be a very pleasant experience on the A mode. The B mode was more frustrating than enjoyable, but it also flushes out the game's maximum potential, so I'm sure some people will enjoy the challenge. In fact, the only reason I got past the last boss is because I found some saucy low kick cheese. This guy must be a descendant of Achilles, just keep kicking him in the heel, man! I still think the A mode alone makes this game worth playing to any retro video game enthusiast. Now I only have one boss left to face, the comments section. I hope you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you don't, it'll really be a kick in the balls. Please don't make me suffer. Till next time. Bye-bye!